My name is Chris-Beth Cowie. I'm the founder of Empowered for X and the host of BizGrams, where we get the opportunity to interview dynamic entrepreneurs to learn about their entrepreneurial journey and the impact that they're having in the community. Today, we are so blessed to have Shakkoi, if you need some koi, also known as Need Some Koi, with us here today. And she is a dynamic entrepreneur, poet, dancer, spoken word artist. Like, go down the list, author. You want it all? Koi, Need Koi is what you get. Okay.
Yes, yes.
How are you doing this morning?
I am doing fantastic. I am just feeling so aligned and just amazing, honestly, and just ready to just remind everybody else why they are aligned as well. So I'm really excited to be here.
Hey, that is wonderful. Thank you so much for being here with us this morning. Before we dive into, you know, all of the epic stuff that's been happening today already, tell us a little bit more about yourself. Who or what got you inspired to start your creative entrepreneurial journey, let's say?
Honestly, like what made me like first think that I could do something in the creative field, it was through working in a gym. Actually, no, I was going to a gym, going to a dance class, and I've never seen before a black woman leading a dance class, like especially like in the gym. I never saw that before. So seeing her do that, I was like, you know what? Maybe this is something that I could actually do one day. Like I never thought I could do that, but seeing her was one of the first things to get my mind to think, And then one day, I ended up taking up a class, taking over one of her classes, and then I realized that her one class made $40. So I'm like, you can make $40 in an hour? I'm like, okay, because right now I'm working 8 hours at Rogers, and in that 8 hours, it takes me half my shift to make the same $40. So I'm like, maybe I just need to start looking for more $40 options for the hour as opposed to just working where I'm at right now. So that was honestly the first like driving gears where I'm like, maybe like I just started thinking about the impossible in a way like that's close to me.
That's wonderful. And I love that shift in the mindset, right? Might have been making minimum wage at that point in time. And it's like, what are the $40 options that I can look into, right? And that just expanded the possibilities as you talked about it. And it is so wonderful. You see, sometimes when we don't see representation, we aren't inspired to think about the possibilities of us stepping into those spaces. So it is really cool to, you got that visual representation and then you're like, I can do this. I've done it and I can do more of it. So tell us more about Need Some Koi.
Yes, so Need Some Koi really is Need Some Koi Incorporation because we incorporate out here. Hey, yes. So that is pretty much just to be like an umbrella of all the things that I do because I realize that I love poetry, I love dance, I love speaking, I love writing. And then when I was trying to put it all together, I'm like, overall, it's self expression that I'm trying to do in various forms. And so instead of just trying to stay on being a poet and like waiting to become the greatest poet or stay on being a dancer and wait to become the greatest dancer, I'm like, no, I love both. I want to do both. So I'm going to create something that is Need Some Koi. It doesn't really signify one thing. It's like an umbrella because I can do so many things. I'm about to get into music and I do consulting and all that stuff. So I'm just like, I don't want to feel held back in anything that I do. I feel like a lot of the times in life, you're told that you can do like one thing or the other thing. But it's like, what if I actually want to do more than one thing? So that's kind of like the basis behind Need Some Koi.
As a spoken word artist, actually, we had the opportunity of meeting through a mentorship program, and I was blown away. I don't know if you want to just grace our audience here with a little snippet of one of your favorite spoken word pieces, and then for the dance and all of those additional elements, your books, we'll send them to your site to learn some more.
Yes, yes, for sure. And one that's becoming one of my favorites is the one that's titled Message to My Anxiety. Because I think one of the most beautiful things with writing is when you're kind of writing for yourself, but you're able to connect with so many other people. So it's like I didn't even realize that so many people could actually connect with how I'm feeling. So once I feel like anywhere I read this piece, like people are really just given the time to just think like, wow, like how do I feel about anxiety? And I feel like even with my tagline, release the doubt and step out, it's really just show people that it's not about always being confident. It's about like realizing when you aren't as well and still being okay with that, you know? So this one is called Message to My Anxiety. And I love performing it as well because I still do fight with my anxiety, but I don't let it stop me from going on stage, from crying, from just being real about myself and all that. So yes, Message to My Anxiety. Oh, from my second book titled The Conscious Queen Volume 1, featuring the After Dark edition. Yes. Message to my anxiety. You secretly inspire me. Singing loud like a choir's key. You're trying to be the hierarchy. You're focused on me like hocus pocus. Then I bloom on you like a lotus. You're like winter weather and I'm a flower. With your storming ice and snow, you freeze my power. I'm being blunt to break the ice since you're crawling in my head like lice. Things are unknown, life's a dice. Being comfortable costs a price. I want to be the cashier again, fighting you back with the strokes of my pen. Anxiety, if you had a title, it would be my least favorite idol. See, you were built like me, but you are not like me. I break free from the walls of anxiety. Anxiety, you are more of a shapeshifter than an uplifter. I see you on road, I see you in pictures, moving ice cold to catch your next victim. Invisible trauma, do you really exist? Invisible trauma got me biting my lip. Invisible trauma, but don't look at her wrists. Mental metal, when you can't just think to get better. All on my throat like a turtleneck sweater. I'm tired of the self-sabotage. Anxiety feeling like an inside job. Anxiety, not killing me softly, but quietly. Like a twisted spirit guide. Inside of me you like to hide. But today I have a message. I'ma look at you like a blessing. Like you and I equals progression. Like you and I down the aisle, but we're grocery shopping, so I gotta force you to smile. See, I won't crush or sit on you, but I'ma have to belittle you. I gotta stay bigger, boo. Think of it as it's not me, it's you. Think of it as something spiritual. I was made from the powerful. Anxiety, only now I really see. Anxiety, you are powerless without me. Anxiety, I'm the landlord and I'm taking back my key. I'm moving your butt to the basement. And don't come back unless you're ready to be complacent.
I think such a powerful message. And thank you so much again for sharing that with us. One of the things I know about your organization, you talked a little bit about dance, and it's not just for women. You really amplify and create spaces for kings and queens to shine. So talk to us a little bit more about that energy and essence that you bring to the world and your community through Need Some Koi.
Yes, thank you so much. And you're referring to Flourtree Fitness. And so with Flourtree Fitness, that's underneath some koi. Why I created that was because I'm like, with me loving moving and reading, how can I create a community around this? And how can I create a community that's actually going to accept Black men? Because I felt like there was just so much like turmoil in the world on social media about the communication between Black men and Black women. And then I was thinking, but is there spaces for Black men to even speak? So if there's no spaces for them to speak, then how do we even know what they're thinking? And how do we know that we're even disagreeing? So instead of me just like being like, okay, like, I don't care, like somebody else will create it. I'm like, you know what? Even though this is not like, I don't feel it's, I can't lead Black men. That's not my place, right? I wouldn't know how to even do that. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just at least create a space where I know I'm manifesting that a Black man will come and want to take over to lead the Black man, and then I can continue to help lead the Black women. So it's called, we do two things with Flow G Fitness. We do verbal healing and physical healing. So it's really taking care of your mental health as well as your verbal health, because that's important. Knowing how to speak, presenting yourself, because the more that you practice, I think people don't realize too, even something as simple as practicing your name, how you say your name, that's something very important, so that when you're in different places, you're not like, oh my gosh, like double thinking it, anxiety. No, you've practiced this. You've been on these online stages. I'm going to put on my Zoom, on my resume, Zoom specialist after all of this, like these are all skills that we're learning. So with King's Talk, that's a space for Black men to speak, unpack, and you know what? It's also not even just for Black men. It's actually led by a Black man, but it's open for all men who want to come and speak and share and just unpack. And then with Queen's Talk, that one right now is for Black women only. And honestly, we're working on being more open, but the thing about that is just we're still learning each other. We're still learning how to unpack ourselves as Black women. We're still learning how to walk by each other and give love and things like that. So because of that, we're trying to like build that area, but we are open to eventually being more open.
So talk to us a little bit about this morning. What happened this morning?
Sorry. I'm already screaming. So this morning, and especially because I didn't really tell much people about it at all, honestly, because I'm doing so much, I'm like, okay, I can't even announce everything. Some things just have to be announced after the fact. And also because I was nervous and I'm like, okay, let me just like make sure I get this down packed. Let me focus and then I'll get the stuff out after. But this morning I was featured, I was on breakfast television. Yes. Oh my God. I was on breakfast television doing a segment for my hips in motion class. So I did like a 5-minute, their movement in the morning segment. I was leading that. And it was so fun. And when I tell you, I was up till like 3 a.m. just like, oh my God, is this really happening? Like last week there were 5 people in my class, like, and then a week later, like I'm going to be on breakfast television. Like, so it really just like, I was like, wow, it doesn't matter about the numbers. It really doesn't matter about even the support, or even feeling like you need like the people close to you support. It doesn't matter. Keep pushing, keep giving yourself that push, and you never know what's gonna happen. I woke up this morning and it was raining. They asked me to do a location outside, and I knew that regardless if it was raining, I was gonna be outside. So I woke up, I saw the rain, I'm like, okay, universe, you want to play a game? Like, cause I'm so determined that even like I don't even see what I don't want. So like I already knew, so like, and so whatever. So I woke up and I was like, okay, think, gazebo. Thought about a gazebo like 15 minutes from my house. I was like, perfect. Went there, set up. I was supposed to meet with the makeup artist. I woke up kind of too late because I was up till 3 a.m. Like, oh my God, you know those ones? So I was late to do makeup. So I was like, oh my goodness. It makes more sense for me to be on time because it's live as opposed to have my makeup done. I'm going to be sweating anyway. So, okay, let me just embrace it. Went there, went to the gazebo, set everything up. And I was like, wow, like, the makeup artist is going to meet me here, but the time is not going to happen. So you know what? Let me just grab some lip gloss, put on the shea butter, and this is just what it is. So to be able to do that, and I felt like even with the equipment, we were like struggling at first with the tech. So to be able to really push through and get it done, it was just like absolutely amazing. I feel so much like a huge weight lift off my shoulder. I'm so excited to just, I haven't even watched it yet, but after this I'm going to watch it and I'm going to cry.
Hey, you gotta send us the link. We will definitely share it.
Yes.
Our newsletter goes out on Friday, so if you send us the link, we'll make sure that we give some extra eyeballs to your dynamic, workout. And I'm excited to see it as well. I probably need some exercise myself, so I'll be inspired for sure.
Exactly. Yes. No, thank you. Especially when it comes to moving the hips, because all we do is sit or walk. We're not really moving on the sides like that. So it's been a great benefit in doing the classes.
So talk to us a little bit more about your entrepreneurial journey. What challenges have you experienced? And, what lessons have you learned or continue to learn through this process?
Honestly, when you say lesson, I just think of the hardships when I first think of that, because it's just like that is what made me want more. Like I was like, I don't want like what's deemed as like attainable. I want to reach for the unattainable. I want the impossible. Like I don't even want mundane, because pretty much when I was, and I speak about this in my first book, when I was 19 years old, my mom passed away from cancer, and she was the sole provider, so it was like extremely hard. It was a huge shift where I was just like, what am I supposed to do now with my life? Like I don't, it was just a lot. Of course, sorry, even when I speak about it, I still have to like give myself some time, even though it's almost been 10 years. And so I can say that one of the challenges have been like even when you have accomplishments, sometimes it's like you just kind of still have a feeling like I wish she was here to see this. And it's like it even feels silly sometimes, but it's just like I have to be truthful to like how I'm actually feeling. But in the same sense, like because of that happening so young, I had to grow up so fast, and that's when I was 19. I got my first tattoo that said, well, it's my third one. I got it after I was just doing whatever. I got like 3 tattoos. I was just going through a lot. But it said the biggest fear is fear itself. Because at 19 I was thinking about my life, and I was like, I want to do so many things. I don't want to become like just like a sad, depressed druggie or something. I don't want to give up on myself. I don't want to give up. So I was like, how can I like remind myself that like even if I'm scared, I can still do it, because I'm not really scared of what it is. It's like you're afraid of fear mostly, not the action. So if you're thinking, oh, I want to jump into the water, you're just like scared. Like you can still jump, but you're putting the fear on it, right? So like when you think, are you actually scared of going into water, or are you scared of being scared into water? So it's just like I was just flipping the word around. That's why I came up with that slogan, just to really remind myself. So each time on this journey, because an entrepreneur journey is not it's really not the glitz and glam. So when you see those entrepreneurs in the glitz and glams, when you see me on breakfast television, okay, when you see me on somebody's yacht, appreciate, like be so happy for them, because it takes so much work to constantly believe in yourself. At the end of university, that's when I was like, I know that I am not going to be applying for a job like that. I just know that that's just like, I did my placement after I went to college first, and I was working in the office, and I was like, I'm too big for this office. Like I cannot, I was just like, this is placement. I'm like, I'm like, this is something, this is every day. So it was just so much where I was like, no. From now, I have to start manifesting better. I have to start. So even when I knew I was about to quit my job at Rogers, I had no other job set up, but I was just like, you know what? Like, if I don't leave this job, and what the literal issue was that I was asking to go on a vacation in December, but I was asking in June. Right? Because I was like, I'm about to play with my things. And even to reflect deeper on that is, I used to go visit my dad once a year after my mom passed, because I'm like, I want to feel like somebody's kid again. I haven't been able to grow up with my dad for a long time. So it means a lot, my connection with my dad. So that's why I was like, hey, June, I'm gone in December, letting y'all know, because I know nobody else is thinking about December right now, but I'm thinking about December right now. So my manager was like, you know what, Shakkoi, like, I don't really think I can give you the time off. Like, I gave you the time off last year. And I said, I was like, I literally had to say to him, I was like, and that's why I knew I couldn't work for nobody. Because I was like, but you didn't buy my ticket. I'm like, you don't buy my ticket. Like, I don't understand. Like, what? Like, there's 6 months. 6 months. You can't find somebody or someone in 6 months. So, when I tell you that, really like made me look at my life. Like, wow. So in the future, if I ever want to do something, I'm gonna have to sit down and convince somebody to let me go, and then I still have to pay. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. I was like, this is crazy. So from that day, I just booked. I was like, yeah, okay, you won't give me December, but guess what? I'm gonna get off August because I know people want to leave in August. So I booked off the last 2 weeks in August. I'm like, I don't know. I might still be working that day. I don't know, but I'm gonna still just book off the weeks. When I tell you, and that's why I'm just like telling everyone, just go for it. Go for your gut feeling, no matter what. If you're crying through it, just keep pushing, whatever. So I booked out those 2 weeks in August. And the whole time I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'm probably still gonna have to come into work. I'm not gonna lie. But I was like, no, Shakkoi, like, whatever. Something's gonna happen. Something. So what ended up happening is I ended up finding this job situation that was able to pay me like $400 a week, which is kind of what I was making at work at the time. So I was like, whoa. So I'm actually gonna be able to not work and then because like the September, the Labor Day weekend, I was about to start school and the job was a 3 week thing, so I wasn't able. So school, I only missed 1 day of school, and I was still able to get all the time off work and make the money. So from when that happened, I was like, I'm getting powered. Like something is happening, connections, and I'm like about connecting. So after that, I just told myself, I'm like, okay, I'm going to be quitting this job before December. And mind you, this time I'm in school. I have no other job set up, and I own a house, so I'm paying bills that my friends can't even understand, and I'm still trying to be like I'm still trying to be like I'm still trying to enjoy fun at their level as well. But there's like just so many things that they can't understand. So it's like all of this is happening, but I'm like, you know what? I'm quitting. I'm quitting. I have to quit. Like, so every day I would go into work after that. I would feel so like scared on the inside. When I tell you, I walked in there like this every day. I was like, oh yeah, y'all didn't go see me break, because I was like, I'm gonna leave here. I do not care what. So it was on November 7th, 2017. I went to the doll store and I bought a card because I'm extra, and I wrote to them and I said, like, I'm sorry for your loss. The loss is me. I am leaving this job, and save this because it will be worth a lot of money one day. And I signed the card and I gave it to them.
Talk to us about your books. I oftentimes ask if there are book recommendations and stuff like that. We definitely want to add your books to our reading list.
Yes. Yes, definitely. So, with my first book titled The Poetic Transitions from a Hothead to a Conscious Queen, this is a poetry book. But what I did with this one to make it different, because sometimes I would read poetry books and I'm like, I'm bored. Because I'm like, I have a short attention span, so I write for the short attention span people. So I'm like, you know what? Sometimes with a poem, I want to hear context. What happened before? What made you want to write the poem? How did you feel after? So I'm like, you know what? With my first poetry book, I'm going to make sure that's in there. So I created a word called preflection. So that's where I explain how I felt before the poem. Then there's the actual poem, then a reflection. So it was pretty much me learning that, like, I'm not just this angry black woman. Like, sometimes I'm sad as well. Is that something I can, like, a space I can hold? And then with this second book, it's poems as well, with a little bit of exotic at the end, because I'm like, this is the adult book. And it's really just about not being the strong black woman again, but being a fluid black woman and being okay with being in different times and different spaces. So yes, a lot of emotion, understanding, and reflections that will help anyone to reflect with themselves and their own life.
What is something phonetical you do to express self-love? And phonetical is my word. I love preflection. I will definitely be adding that to my vocabulary.
Yes.
Fun and epic combined for great or small adventures that are memorable and impactful. So what is something that you do?
Something that I've been doing recently, well, I'll quickly say two things, is they rhyme, then hiking and biking. And not being afraid to do them on my own. I think those have been the funnest things for me, really just like getting up in the morning air, just being able to see. I've lived in Pickering for like 9 years. I'm seeing sights that I'm like, this has been here the whole time, and I'm just like on the street when there's so much in the forest. So I feel like the biggest fun epical thing, and now I have a camera, so I'm in there like just getting amazing shots of nature. So the fun epical thing that I have or that I do that I don't really talk about as much is just like my love for nature and just like being